What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the trading world. Guys, there comes a point in both trading and in life where you realize you either lock in or you're going to stay locked in the same spot in your life that you've been in forever and ever and ever. And so you really have to choose your hard. You really have to say, okay, it's hard to stay locked in. Like, for me, it's hard to stay motivated to make these market recaps for you guys every single day, to continue to show up every single day despite whatever goes in our way. But what's the alternative, right? You either stay locked in, or it's like either you're moving forwards or it's like you're moving backwards. And it's so hard, guys. It's so hard. Like, mentally, it's a struggle, but what else do you do? You gotta move forward. You gotta keep moving one step in front of the other. You might not see the destination right now, but just keep moving one step in front of the other. Stay locked in. Like, I'm talking to myself mostly, and you guys, but mostly myself as well, because it's hard. It's hard to do everything you need to do every day. It's hard to on top of whatever else you have going on in your life, right? Whether that be work, school, a job, anything, right? And then on top of that, be a trader. It's like, oh my gosh, it's a lot. It's a lot. But it's like, we gotta stay locked in, because the alternative is you stay literally locked in. You're gonna be locked in the place that you don't want to be in your life. And it's like, I was thinking about this while I was at work today. It's like, there's literally it's choose your hard. You really you gotta keep going. It's hard, but you gotta keep going. Try and find peace in the process, but you gotta keep going. So I'm gonna hopefully do a better job at make these videos for you guys every single day. It's hard. I want to document every single day in detail because I think it's important. So, we're going to be reviewing price action today for November 13th, 2025. We're going to be taking a look at basically everything in detail. And today was actually a really cool day. So, first things first, I'll actually start out by showing you guys my pre-market analysis and how it was pretty spot on. I should have caught a 4-hour trade today. I should have 100% caught a 4-hour trade today, and it was a great trade, and I had hesitation when there was no reason to. And so, on one hand, right, it's important for us to make sure that we're taking good trades, but also be fearless and fast, because the market's not going to let you have some time to you both have to execute fearlessly and fast and also make an informed decision. And anyway, it's hard. It's hard. But it's a skill. It's part of trading. But anyway, I mapped out the whole entire trade. I might show you guys later in the video what the trade was. But yeah, I just hesitated. So this was my pre-market analysis. First things first, higher time frame down. What do we have here? We have an old new week opening gap. And check out what was happening going into the pre-market. This was my pre-market analysis. We had a liquidity curve. What's a liquidity curve? It's every single time we push up against it. This is high resistant liquidity curve, meaning every time we push up against it, we fail and we go lower, right? Low resistance is when this is already formed, and then we finally break through it, and then we aggressively expand through it. But right now, this is high resistant, right? And so you can see what ended up happening here is exactly that, right? We stayed high resistant. Let me pull up the 4-hour. Check this out, right? This analysis was pretty spot on. We had the new week opening gap. And look at how the market interacts with this old new week opening gap. Pay attention to these kinds of things on your chart, because it's going to give you a really good clue of what's going on. And so, new week opening gap here, And then, I don't know if I've talked about this in a video yet, but what you can do with new day opening gaps and new week opening gaps is you can basically just align it with a change state that makes sense given the context. Like, there's no specific one, according to my back testing, that's going to align with. It's just based off how big it is in the context. So in this case, right, we got a sweep of the high. We got a sweep of the high. And then I would align this one with the 1 hour because it looks like a 1 hour change in state would work best with it. Because once again, new week opening, the problem with doing a set change in state for a new week opening gap and a new day opening gap is they're going to come in different sizes. So it's just based off of the context, according to my back testing. But you can see here's the 1 hour change in state. See how perfectly we hit that? Right? So this is flow state using a new week opening gap. I made a name for specifically this. I call it the shadow model. Maybe I'll make this video called the shadow model. That'd be a good idea. But yeah, for any new week opening gap or new day opening gap, if you get a change in state out of it, once again, align it based off of the context, how big it is, and that kind of thing. There's no set one. But the change state out of it is going to be a nice flow state entry, right? So shadow model. The cool thing about this, guys, is this was perfectly above midnight, right? So we had midnight here. So we come above midnight. And I'm not going to go too much further in detail on the higher time frame, but we basically have midnight here. This creates high of the day, right? This creates high of the day above midnight. And then we deliver lower. So I'll show you some more screenshots from the pre-market. But check this out. We had I noted that this was high resistance, right? Boom, boom, boom. 1 hour change in state. And then I noted how this was, since this was high resistance, it's like, oh, I was given an analogy to Ethan at work today. Ethan's my sister's boyfriend, and he works with me. I was trying to explain to him how this works. I don't know, we were just talking about it, and I was like, what'll happen is there'll be high resistant liquidity and low resistance. It's like two giant, like a bowling ball colliding with a bouncy ball, right? The high resistant liquidity is the bowling ball, and the bouncy ball is the low resistant liquidity, right? So when they collide, we're gonna crush through the old low resistant liquidity. So push up against high resistant liquidity, drill back down through low resistant liquidity. And so you can see that's exactly what happened, right? Once again, here's the high resistant liquidity. So this curve here, and note how we come above this curve. That's how you can tell that this is manipulation, is we actually manipulate above the curve. Dodgy talks about that in a video he made, I don't know how long ago, but like anytime you see like a curve of lower highs and then we get a sweep of that curve, it's like that's true manipulation. And then 1 hour change in state, and then we go against this low resistant curve here. So it's like bowling ball versus the bouncy ball. Which one's gonna win, right? Bowling ball, the bouncy ball goes up against the bowling ball and then bounces away, right? That's what happens. And then we go way lower. So once again, high resistant liquidity meets with low resistant liquidity. We have the new week opening gap. Align this with a 1 hour change in state. We get a soup above midnight and then go lower. Okay, so with that in mind, guys, I knew right in the morning that we were going to likely go lower to go run through all these lows. I knew all that. Plus, you can see here we have this unfilled new week opening gap. And, well, with all these low resistant lows, it just made sense that we were probably going to dump into that. Plus, if I go to overnight or the RTH hours, so this is the regular trading hours price action, we had a giant RTH gap to the downside. So what is an RTH gap? It's the gap between the close and the open of a new day. And this is going to be an amazing draw on liquidity for price, meaning the market's going to love to come back and fill these. And so you can see that's exactly what happened. RTH gap got filled. And where's it? Okay. Yeah, RTH gap got filled. This was the draw on liquidity. You can clearly see that we went lower. And then not only did midnight get manipulated here, and 130, by the way, 130 as well, but then we go lower, and then right before we go lower, 730 forms right here. We get another manipulation right after 730. Once again, this is why true opens are important, right? I can go down the lower time frame and really show you guys. But there's 730. We get the final Judas swing starts at 730. Let me mark this out. So there's 730. Here's the final Judas swing, meaning manipulation, right? And then what happens here? We get a... Now, I wasn't on the charts for this, otherwise this would have been nice. But we got a 2022 model where we had... I don't know if I marked this down, but I noted this before. Like, when I was doing my pre-market analysis, this was what I noticed. I was like, oh, wow. We perfectly souped 752. That's the 90-minute true open. And it was a 5-minute for VIA gap, right? So liquidity sweep, 5 minute. It actually was a volume balance, and then we went lower. Once again, well, let's see. Maybe it was a 3-minute one or 2-minute, or maybe it was a 30-second one. Go down the lower time frame. Yeah, so you can clearly see this was most obvious on the 30-second. Right, we swept out the high, break structure, and then come back up to essentially this volume imbalance here, and then go lower. Okay, that's besides the point. What happened? What was the 4-hour trade that I really liked that I wanted to take? That was super obvious. Well, once again, I knew that we were drawing lower, going towards this RTH gap. I had this 5-minute gap marked out right here. Now, the thing about this 5-minute gap is it was in discount, and so I was like, okay, like in discount of this whole entire range, and I was like, okay, I was thinking maybe we need to come back up to this gap, because that will make this that means we'll come back up to premium. Huge mistake. Here's why, right? The thing about this, the context is we are getting displacement towards a very obvious draw on liquidity, the RTH gap and the new week opening gap here. If we're getting displacement, we actually don't want to see the market come retrace all the way back up to premium because we're getting displacement. The whole point is that we continue to displace towards our draw on liquidity. If we came back up all the way back here, that would actually show me weakness. The market's actually being weak. Instead, I should have been looking to see this 5-minute gap hold because displacement was occurring towards our draw on liquidity. So I have a note of this, but it's crazy lesson from today is let me see if I marked this out here. Yeah, since we were displacing aggressively we didn't need to retrace to this higher time frame premium. We only needed to retrace to the low time frame, the premium of this low time frame leg. And you can see we do hit that, right? We hit equilibrium, so here's the 5-minute gap. We retraced the premium of this low time frame leg. And this was the trade I missed out on, right? This was the trade I really wanted to catch, and it was super obvious. I had it marked out in real time. I'll actually show you guys right after this, actually. But yeah, right, we get a, once again, this is not that obvious, right? So this change in state, it's not obvious. But then we get a sweep, very aggressive sweep, and then closure lower, light bulb, right? When you see that aggressive sweep and close lower, 30-second change of state. What's change in state? When you get a candle body close below the old down close candle. So that's the 30-second change in state. We also had S&T with this high. So I had all of this marked out. Unfortunately, I was hesitant. I didn't take it. But then you can see we back test it. And we go lower. And we dig deep down into the RTH gap. And we tap the new week opening gap down here. As always, I'm not saying you'd have to take all off at the 7th, but you could do scaling out. So like 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what I mean? It's like maybe just do 2R, maybe 3R. Anything's fine, honestly. But yeah, I'm gonna pull up the live stream from today because I actually want to take a look at it and talk about it, because it comes down to being fearless in the market, coming down to confidence and fearlessness, and that's a skill in the market on its own. And it takes time to develop, and I gotta keep working on it. Maybe this isn't gonna work. I don't know what's going on. Okay. All right. Good. So yeah, I had, just to show you guys, I had this whole thing marked out, right? So I didn't, this one I was thinking about it, but I was like, since it's not the first presented for value gap, I'm not gonna do anything because I the random, so that you guys are gonna get an S and before that. Expecting pressure. This is actually nice. I actually maybe would have taken that if I was looking at it. Dang it. That's nice because we got a. So okay, first things first, right? I maybe should have taken that. No. The trade, you still have the opportunity to take this, right? We have not retested this yet. I should have, once I said those words, I should have put a limit order right at the change in state here, right? Right when I said those words, I should have taken it. No. You haven't missed it. Just because you missed the close doesn't mean you missed the retest, right? So we got a sweep into the 5-minute gap, closure lower. I should have put a limit order right at the change in state, right as I said those words. I did not miss the entry. Right. If you missed the close, that's fine. If I missed the entry for the close of the flow state, that's fine. I can get in on the retest. So I should have put a limit order right there. Sweep with S&T off the gap and then 30-second change of state. That was nice. Okay, I didn't see that. Dang it. Oh, we might retest it. And so I should have just put a limit order right there, right? Oh yeah, the retest will probably be nice. And I hesitated, right? And I shouldn't have been hesitant. I should have just executed. So the lesson is, on one hand, you have to be conservative. You can't you got to be able to hold yourself back, but you also have to understand when the time is right, when the market calls your name to execute the trade, you press that button. You press that button. You don't hesitate. You press that button because you're reading the story. You're entering the story when the market calls your name. That's all you're doing, right? Okay. It's probably gonna play out. Should not have hesitated. Once again, this in the moment, it seems scary. It seems scary to see that displacement candle. But we know this is good according to our backtesting. We know market's displacing lower towards an obvious strong liquidity lower, the RTH gap. And also, we had the higher time frame sell model, right? Remember the 1 hour change in state here with the new week opening gap. This was another reason I knew we were going lower, by the way, is we had the new week opening gap. We had an hourly change in state off of it. Look at this. Measure out this. This is obviously the manipulation, right? We manipulate above this liquidity curve. Project this out. So we went 2 projections. So I knew we were likely going to go 4 projections because this is the max extension, right? So we went 2 projections. We had low resistance liquidity. I knew we were likely going to go 4 projections. So with that was basically my higher time frame idea. I should have had more conviction in it. Anyway, I might not take it. You see, just stall. For hyped it out. I like gaps. Anyway, point is, I didn't take it. And sometimes when you see something good, you gotta be able to execute it without fear and do so with confidence. So, lesson learned. Anyway, let's talk about more things that occurred in the market today. So, something very interesting that occurred that I think was a very cool lesson is we got a 15-minute inversion to the upside, and then we actually had a Phoenix model against that 15-minute inversion. Let me show you guys. I'll explain exactly what I mean in just 1 second. Where is it? All right. So, okay, we have a 15-minute inversion. Here's the thing. The drawn liquidity is lower. The drawn liquidity is the overnight gap, the RTH gap. Pattern traders are looking at this 15-minute inversion, and they're thinking, oh, it's an inversion for value gap. Let's long, right? And to be fair, it's not the worst idea because it's got good signature, right? It's got a good close. But something to consider is the fact that we had that open new week opening gap below. We had the open new week opening gap below. What do I mean by that? We had this. That's a red flag to have taken that 15-minute inversion, right? The fact that we left this open means this is a lot less likely to work, this 15-minute inversion to the upside. And so, let me go back to that image. Whoops, that's not it. So yeah, we had that, the RTH gap had not been filled. We had the open new week opening gap. So when we get this inversion, what you can actually do is you can say, okay, I know there's going to be a lot of people pattern trading this IFEG. I know the drawn liquidity is lower. What can I do to act in line with smart money? Check this out, right? What we had here is SMT with a really nice 15-minute rejection block. It was also a 1-minute Phoenix model as well. I'll show you that in just a second. But actually, I think this was the 1-minute one. Here. So here's the 1-minute one, right? So we have this 1-minute rejection block. We have the rejection block comes with a really nice sweep of liquidity here, right? Pop above these highs, boom. Sweeping out those highs. We come back up. We push into the rejection block. We push into consequent encroachment of the rejection block with SMT. By the way, guys, this is going to be a sniper entry, consequent encroachment. I call that Phoenix 0. We're above all the true opens, and we go lower off of that. And we go to the true drawn liquidity, which is filling the overnight gap. And so, What could you have done here to conceptualize that this is a high probability trade? You could have said, I know everyone's longing off of this 15-minute inversion for value gap. I'm going to fade them and enter on this Phoenix model. Once again, if you're entering on this inversion, where's your break-even point? It's probably going to be right there. So this is gonna be a really nice Phoenix model because everyone's not gonna be at break even yet because it's right there. That's their break even point. So they never hit it, and then they all get liquidated going back down to the RTH gap. Once again, guys, conceptualizing how other traders are trading, it's powerful. It's very, very powerful stuff. Okay, so that was kind of cool. That's kind of cool. Let's see. I'm going to try and not make this go too much longer. But something I saw on Twitter was some trader, this guy, Diego B. Trades, was like, how come this lost? Why did this lose? He's upset, like, swear if I fade this, it smacks, and everyone's gonna say, blah blah blah. Every time I lose, I feel like the world's biggest clown. Here's the thing: it's not terrible. It's just what happened. So I was backtesting this. And Dodgy even said, Dodgy replied to him, and he said, "Good loss, TBH, LOL." But the reason that I think it didn't work is we had basically taken out all the draws on liquidity to the short term in this new week opening gap. So we swept out the lows. Boom. So let me actually show you guys. So here's a low time frame image of this. We swept out all the lows. Here's that new week opening gap. We swept out the lows. On the low time frames, like on the 30-second, we broke this high, but the key is displacement, right? So liquidity sweep, breaker structure. For a value gap, here's a gap between this high and this low. Boom, there's a gap, but I'm merging these three candles together. And then we get a retracement, and then expansion. Oh, that's not the image I wanted. This is how you would actually take it. Once again, I wasn't considering taking this, but in my opinion, this is why this failed, is just because we kind of swept out lows into the new week opening gap. We got displacement higher, and so yeah. Yeah. Oh, lastly, there was a trade off of there's two first presented for value gaps. There was a tiny one. Sometimes when there's a super tiny one, you can use either one. You can use the tiny one, or you can use the next one, which is sometimes going to be bigger. So in this case, I used the bigger one, and I counted this one as the first presented for value gap. And to show you guys what I mean, here's the two. Right, we had two versions of the first presented for value gap, one bigger, one smaller. You can see how both of them actually work, right? This one, we react here, react here, react here, react here. So they all work. The way I would take my first strike model is, in this example, is I really like how we sweep this high. We get a closure lower. And then once again, we were drawing towards the RTH gap getting filled. So entry on this 15-second change state retest. And as I say here, you got to be quick and fearless. Execute this quick and fearlessly, putting that limit order in right away. And then you could go break even at the low if you wanted. Personally, I'd probably go break even a little past the low. And then we deliver down here. And then perfectly hit 4 projections. So this is my first strike model. I have a video that's going to come out on this for a short form video eventually, but anyway. Yeah, I think that's good enough for today, guys. I think if I overdo it, I'm never going to make these market recaps, so I just got to work on making them consistently every single day. That's the important thing. And yeah, thank you guys. Let me see. I don't know why this isn't working. Anyway, it's blurry, but that's okay. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in in the next one. Peace out.